is gone, we've only begun. That's the best part when we get it on. I'm addicted, no denying it. Cause you don't cross my mind, you live in it. I wanna taste you and feel you shake, raising an earthquake. Can't push the brakes when a rush hits. We're going in, we're going in.
Hey. Okay, we're live on YouTube and Instagram. So last time we worked on the eyes for the eye shader and we used texture in XYZ for the iris, and I showed you how to paint the sclera map for your, in the tutorial, not in the live stream, but so we're done with the eyes, and as promised, today we're working on the hair shader. Right now, if I render, the hair won't look correct because the shader that's connected to the hair is just Maya's physical hair material, which Arnold doesn't support. Hey Aqib, hey. Yes, Gwen, sorry, I don't know how to pronounce your name. Hey. Hey everybody, thank you for tuning in. Okay, so now you can see that the hair looks white and it doesn't have any physical properties because Arnold doesn't support Maya's physical hair material. And so what we need to do is inside the Hyper shade, if you go to Arnold shader, there is this one called AI standard hair, which is what we're going to use for the hair. Let's rename this to hair underline matte, hair out. So I'm just gonna select the whole collection so I can assign this hair material to all the descriptions for now. Later we're going to make different materials for different descriptions, but right now I'm just gonna assign this one material to all the descriptions. Okay, now let's go ahead and render once more. Hey, Anurag. Yes, so this time it looks black, which is just how the hair standard looks without any modifications. It's just the default properties for Arnold. But if you look at the references, you can see that the hair that we're trying to make is a mixture of gray and I'm not sure if it's brown, darkish brown, or black. So in order to introduce some of those white and gray hair strands inside the description, what we need to do is use a melanin map. If you look at the hair standard properties, you can see that there is a slider for melanin, which controls, if I render, you can see that if I change the melanin, right now it's 1, which means completely black. But if I change it to 0, it becomes white. 0 melanin means white hair. If we set it to something in between, it's some sort of blonde or brown hair. So white, blonde, brown, brunette, whatever you're gonna call it, and black. So we want some white hair strands and then the rest darkish brown or black. So we can't just use the slider. We need to use a map to tell XGen, tell Maya that we want this section of the hair to be white and the rest to be brown or black. So in order to add a melanin map, what you need to do is go to your XGen window and let's go to the hair description. You need to switch to the second tab, which is preview output. And then there is this part, this subsection called custom shader parameters, which is where we're going to add the melanin attribute. So inside this field, which is called name, I'm going to just type melanin, or you can just name it whatever you want, doesn't really matter. But what matters is that you need to change the float to color, and then you click on this little plus sign, and now you have a new attribute called melanin. But we're not done yet. We need to click on this drop down and create map. If you remember that how we added the density map, the thickness map, this is just like that. You just click on this drop down and create map. Again, I'm just going to name it melanin. Resolution should be maybe 30 is enough. 20 to 30. And let's just create. Right now the scalp is hidden. We need to make it visible. Okay, let's just hide the model so we can see what's going on. And also let's change the hair melanin to black so it's easier to follow what's inside the viewport. Hey Chiba. Hey. Thank you people for tuning in. So we are working on the hair shader for Arnold. Alright, so let's click on this brush icon once more. Before I paint anything, I want to make sure that the texture has the proper size or resolution, so we can see all the details. So inside the tool settings window, if you go to file textures, you can assign a new texture, which I'm gonna do, and I'm going to change the size from 1024 to, let's change it to 3000. Oh, it doesn't Okay, let's just use the slider. $40.96. I'm not sure if, let's just use 2048. Let's assign, and so I'm just gonna, just like the reference, I want to make the hair around the ears a bit gray or white. So this is the melanin map. Right now it's just blank white texture. So white means 100% melanin, which is black. So wherever you add a black dot, for example, let me change the artisan to flat and change the radius to 0.1. And also let's turn on symmetry so we can have the brush work on both sides. Okay, so wherever you add a black dot, it means that the hair that grows on top of that area is going to be white. And I want hair around here to be I want to have some white or gray hair around the sideburns, around the ears, on the back, so we can have a nice transition to the beard. From, you can see here is black or dark brown, and then it transitions to white beard. A junior, how can I get the mask maps that you use in the scalp, please? Mask maps, I'm not sure what you mean. I just shared with you the scalps and the base mesh. That's all I'm going to share. I'm not going to share with you the textures or the model or the maps. That's something that you need to do yourself. I'm teaching you how to fish. I'm not giving you the fish. Hey, Pixel Oracle. Okay, so let's just save this. Remember that you need to save it, and then if I render right now, let's save first. Remember, every time you wanna click on render, you have to first save. Let's turn on the model. Also, let's change the lights because it's not covering everything. So what I'm gonna do, instead of using this area light, I'm just gonna go to Arnold shelf and click on physical sky, or let's add a sky dome. And now you can see that it just, let's also turn off the area light. So okay, if you look, the melanin map is not working. The hair is still completely black because there is another step that we need to take in order for the melanin map to work. And what we need to do inside the hyper shade, let's have the hair mat isolated. So the melanin for the hair shade is still just a slider. In order to connect the attribute that we just added inside the action window, in order to connect this, we need to use a node for Arnold, which is called user data color. If you go to Arnold in your hypershade and search for user data color without any space, just there's this node that is called AI user data color, which is exactly what we need. So inside this node we have this field which is called attribute, which you need to type the name for the attribute. If you remember, we named the attribute melanin, so I'm just going to name, I'm going to type the same name, melanin, in here, and we need to connect this to melanin. But you can see the melanin is a single channel input, so we need to click on the plus sign and use one of the RGB channels, doesn't matter which one, and connect it to melanin. Now if I click on render, you can see that the hair that we, let me hide the beard so we can, let me just hide everything else besides the main hair description. You can see now, if I zoom in, those areas that we added those black dots are now white, which is exactly what we wanted. So now that we are sure that the melanin map is working as intended, we can just go ahead and finish it. So I'm just gonna stop the render for now, and we need to focus on the reference and add more black dots. Let me hide the model. Let me click on this brush icon so we can, so I'm just gonna randomly add new. It doesn't have to be 100% accurate. I mean, it's impossible to get every single white hair strand in position, so I'm just adding randomly around the sideburn. And as I'm moving up, I'm keeping the black dots more distant from each other. As we get closer to the sideburns and the ears, there are more white hair, as you can see in the reference, but as we get closer to the top and the forehead, there's less gray hair. For the back, we need more black dots because there are more white and gray hair. doesn't have to be perfect, just because it's a, I mean, the entire scalp is huge, so it takes hours if you wanna do everything perfectly. Okay, let's save and have an update for the render so we can make sure that we're on the right path. Okay, it's looking good, but I think we need to change some of the properties. I mean, the hair is looking too rough. There's almost no reflection, no shininess. So let's change the roughness to no, I don't think it's the roughness. Actually, it's probably because of the lighting. Okay, let's change the lighting to, let's turn this off and okay, so we have this light and we can duplicate. If you select the light and click Shift D, it duplicates and adds another one. Okay, let's move this one to the side so we can Am I lagging? If I'm lagging, please let me know, because the OBS is giving me some errors. I'm not sure if it's because I'm rendering or if the connection is not stable. Okay, so I think this light works better. Oh, you can see this artifact. There's this, it's like a scalp is not completely invisible. So in order to fix that, let's check, let's go to attribute editor, let's select the scalp hair, attribute editor, hair shape, and render stats, yeah, because we need to turn off these, inside the render stats, you need to turn off everything for the scalps. Well, let's keep the double-sided for all of them, because we don't want the scalps to be visible inside the render. We just need them inside the viewport. And for that reason, I'm turning off render visibility. So in render stats, you're basically, you have control over the visibility of your objects inside the render engine. Arnold also has this visibility. You can also, I mean, basically they are synced together. So if you turn off visibility inside render stats, it automatically turns it off inside Arnold as well. But you can just, to make sure it's completely invisible and there are no glitches and bugs, you can also turn it off inside the Arnold visibility. Now if I render, you can see that it's gone and the scalp is no longer visible. I think we need some more noise on her. Yeah, I think so, because it's looking flat. Yeah, I mean, we're not done with the hair. There are still so many modifiers and modifications that we need to work on for the hair to look real, and for everything, for the textures, for the model. We are so far from being done with this model. Okay, let me stop the render. And so one thing when I want to change is I don't want the hair to be a mix of complete white and complete black. I want some randomness for my melanin. In order to have randomness for the hair shader, you can, I mean, there is this melanin randomize that you can turn on, but you have no control over that. It's just complete chaos. But I want to have some control. I don't want just Arnold to decide for me which hair strand should be white, which one should be gray, which one should be brown. I want to have some control. So I want to leave some randomness for the hair shader, but I'm just going to keep it to, I usually keep it to 0.2, 0.1 or 0.2. But in order to have some control and at the same time randomize the melanin and have a range, because right now the range is 0 to 1. 0 is no melanin, complete white, and 1 is 100% melanin, which is black. So in order to set a range, you just need to use, instead of directly connecting the user data color to the melanin input of the hair mat, what I'm gonna do, again, inside the Arnold, inside Hypershade, search for range, RANGE, and there is this node called AI range, which is exactly what we need. I'm connecting the output for the user data color to the input of range, and connecting the output of a single channel of the range to melanin of the hair shader. So I think I need to show this one with okay. So when you add a melanin map, it's a black and white. We have black, which means 100% melanin. M is for melanin. And then we have white, which is 0% melanin. Sorry, it's in reverse. Black means 0% melanin. White means 100% melanin. So, in order to change this, we don't want the hair to be black and white. We want to have some brown in between. So this is where range comes in place. So if you add a range, you can say that, okay, I want my white areas to be, for example, maybe 80% melanin. And my black areas to be maybe 2% melanin, not complete black, complete white. This is what range does. It gets the input from your user data color. So the range node has input minimum, input maximum, output minimum, and output maximum. So input minimum and maximum is 0 and 1, as I said. 0 and 1. 0% melanin, 100% melanin. And the output is what you decide. For example, I want the minimum to be 0.01 and the maximum to be, for example, 0.7, 0.75. Now let's see what it does. Okay, let me change it to something more obvious so you can see. Let me change it to 0.5. Now you can see instead of black, we have brown and white. So if you change the output max to 0.1, let's say, it's blonde and white. So I'm just gonna change it. I'm just gonna set it to I think 75 was good. Yeah, I mean, if I look at the reference, yeah, I think it's it looks like dark brown. So I'm just gonna save it to, or maybe 72. Yeah, I think it looks better. Hey John. Hey. People on Instagram have weird usernames. I can't read some of them. Saman Salam. Amir Hassan. Tikama. Hey, thank you. Alright, so that's how use the melanin map to change the color of the hair of my character. Alright, so that's for the main hair and for the eyebrows. Let's turn on eyebrows. Let's see for the... Okay, now if you look at the render, you can see that the eyebrows is completely white. And the reason is that we don't have any melanin attribute set for the eyebrows description. So for the user data color node, if you look, the default value is set to black, which means no melanin. If I change the default value to like gray or white, it changes to brown. But as you can see that the eyebrows is also grayish brown with some white strands, and it's not that dense, it's not easy to see, but it's clear that we have some white eyebrows. So we need to add the same attribute, melanin attribute, for the eyebrows as well. Just the same way, melanin for the custom shader parameters. Click on the plus sign. Click on create map. Melanin resolution 30 is fine. Create. And the scalp is hidden. Let's hide the model so we can see what's going on. Alright. Let's click on the eyes, and inside the viewport in the top bar menu, click on view and center view selection so we can have a better control or navigation inside the viewport. Alright, let's click on the brush sign and let's assign a new texture so the size is correct. Let's turn on reflection, which is on. Okay, just the same way I'm adding black dots inside the map. Let's save and turn on the model and render. Okay, I think we need more white hair. Emir Han, hey, have a nice stream. I'm trying to make money for it's fair. Would you recommend me to use Classic Exchange or Interactive Gloom Editor? I know Classic. Classic, you mean Exchange Core, I think. Yeah, it doesn't matter. You can have the same results either using Exchange Core or IGS. Some people are more comfortable with IGS, some people are more used to Exchange Core, like me. It's just a preference, so it's not something that you can decide for you. Okay, the eyebrows is looking weird. I think the thickness for the eyebrows is the density and thickness are too high. I'm going to fix that later. Right now I'm just focused on finishing the hair shader and the melanin maps, so I'm just gonna leave that for later. Let's move on to the beard. Let's turn on the beard description and also the beard scalp. So just the same way, I'm going to Exchange window, type melanin, add, create a new map, assign a new texture, 2048, set the texture. Sometimes you have to just assign it twice. I don't know why, it's just a bug with Maya. So again, I think we need to randomly add. Let me turn off the model. We just need to randomly add black dots all over the surface. Do you usually start with the base meshes for your sculpts, or is it from scratch every time? Usually base mesh. Very rarely I use primitives for my sculpts, because it just takes unnecessary time. And if you're a beginner, it could be really beneficial for your skill development to use primitives, like starting from a sphere or a cube. But as you learn, it's just a waste of time. It doesn't. I mean, some people still rather a sculpt on a sphere every single time, but I see it as a waste of time. Okay guys, I think I'll be live for another 10-15 minutes. So if you have any questions, And next time I think we're also working on XGen to finish working on the descriptions, add more modifiers, add more noise. Because right now the hair is looking flat, it doesn't look very realistic and natural. Can I ask what tablet you're using? It's a Wacom Intuos Pro, and it's from, I think I bought it in 2016 if I'm not wrong, so it's almost 10 years old. Okay, let's save. There's something going on with the beard. Oh god. Okay, we have an error for the beard. Is it hard to learn XGen from zero? From zero. Could be hard, but not really. I'm not sure, because before I learned XGen I was already familiar with 3D hair and how different modifiers work, but I wouldn't say it's really hard. So I'm not sure what's going on with the beard. Let's see, maybe it's because of the clumping. Yeah, it was the clump. I'm not sure why it happened, but... Oh. Wait. Why did it change the projects? I'm not sure what's happening with Maya. It just automatically changes the set projects to something else. Alright, let's render and see what's going on. I'm not sure what's happening. While making long hair, how many layers do you use to cover the scalp? Or the middle of the scalp is always being bold and we don't see this. Hard to follow your question. I'm not sure. You can add a new description, or you can go to your primitives map and click on this more primitives ads and specify points and manually add new hair strands in certain areas if you want. Okay, I think so for some reason it didn't save and it crashed. Okay, let's open once. So this is the first time Maya is crashing while I'm live. It's exciting. Do you think Wacom Pen tablet is more like an industry standard or such? The XP Pen and Huion is okay. Yeah, I mean, you can use anything. It doesn't really matter. It doesn't change. It doesn't change your skill. It's just a tool. Don't take it too seriously. I'm not sure why it didn't save the melanin map for the beard, but it is what it is. We just need to do it again. The XGen is still buggy, and today I realized I think XGen won't work with UDIMs. Is that right? Yes, XGen. That's why you need to, if your model has more than one UV tile, you need to add scalps. But yes, XGen doesn't recognize UDIMs. You just have one single UV tile that you can work with. How can we break the hair card-like look that we get while making hair with XGen? They sometimes look like flat planes that are just separated into curves. Not sure what you mean. Okay, let's save and let's render and see what's going on. In terms of hair thickness, what value do you use to simulate an accurate, realistic hair thickness? Depends on your scale. I mean, for beard, it's somewhere between 0.01 to 0.02. For other descriptions, it's around 0.01. But it depends on your scale. It's not a universal standard. You also do the texturing for the skin. Yes, if you go back and watch my previous live streams, you worked on the textures. Okay, so I think I showed you how to make the hair shader and use the melanin map to add gray hair to your description, but I mean the hair is not ready to be called finish. So next time we're going to focus on finishing the modifiers and the grooming, and after that also the texture is not completely the same. We need to add more color variation, and you can see that the color tone is not completely accurate, so we need to work on that. We need to also finish working on the melanin map, but for now I think we just covered the basic of how to set your hair standard shader. So if you guys don't have any questions, I think that's enough for today. And I will see you probably tomorrow. No promises, but probably tomorrow or next week. Okay, I'm just gonna wait for a few seconds. If I get no questions, I'm just gonna end this stream. Alright, thank you everybody. Thank you for joining and thank you for tuning in, and I will see you next time.